Before Rome, before Greece, before anyone, there was a kingdom that ruled for 3,000 years, and it should have been impossible. Pharaohs who declared themselves gods, queens who seized empires from men who underestimated them, brothers who murdered brothers for a single throne. Armies vanished into the desert. Cities were built and buried. Dynasties rose in glory and collapsed in blood. This is not just history. This is a rise, the betrayal, and the fall of the greatest empire the world has ever known. 10,000 years ago, a river cut through nothing but endless, silent desert sand. Along its banks, in the harshest land on earth, the first farmers dared to settle. They learned to read the floods, to trust the river's rhythm, and to survive it. For centuries, two separate kingdoms rose along the Nile, one north, one south. Then came a king determined to rule not half a land, but all of it. His armies marched north, crushing every kingdom that dared to stand in his way. When the dust settled, one man wore both crowns, and Egypt was finally united. This single act of conquest gave birth to the very first nation in history. From this moment forward, Egypt would not just be a place. It would be an idea. A civilization was born that would outlast empires the world hadn't even imagined yet. Generations later, Egypt's kings decided their power should reach beyond life itself, into eternity. They ordered the construction of monuments so massive, no civilization had ever attempted them. Tens of thousands of workers labored for decades, believing they were building a stairway to the gods. What rose from the desert would become one of the greatest achievements in human history. The pharaoh was not just a king to his people. He was a living god. Every ritual, every prayer existed to keep this god-king favored by the forces of heaven. Beneath his divine authority, ordinary Egyptians built a society more advanced than the world knew. Writing, mathematics, medicine, and law all flourished under the shadow of the pharaoh's pyramids. Even in death, kings prepared for a second life more elaborate than most people's first. For nearly 1,000 years, the old kingdom stood as the pinnacle of ancient power. But even gods could not control the sky, and the Nile's flood began to fail. Famine spread across the kingdom, and the people's faith in their god-kings began to crumble. Regional rulers seized power for themselves, tearing the once unified kingdom into warring fragments. For over a century, Egypt descended into division, chaos, and forgotten unity. From the south, a new line of kings rose, determined to restore what was lost. Through years of war, they crushed their rivals and stitched the broken kingdom back together. Egypt rose again, stronger and wiser, entering an age remembered as the Middle Kingdom. Trade flourished, art blossomed, and Egypt's borders expanded further than they ever had before. But prosperity attracted enemies, and foreign invaders called the Hyksos seized the northern lands. For the first time in its history, Egypt bowed to rulers who were not its own. In secret, a new generation of Egyptian princes studied their enemies' weapons and their tactics. When they finally rose up, they fought back with the very weapons that once defeated them. War after war, the Egyptians pushed the invaders out, reclaiming every inch of their homeland. Egypt was free again, but this time, its rulers vowed it would never happen twice. A new era began, not just a defense, but conquest beyond Egypt's own borders. Armies pushed into distant lands, and Egypt transformed from a kingdom into a true empire. Then a woman claimed the throne, ruling not as a queen but as a pharaoh herself. Hatshepsut defied every tradition, proving a woman could rule with equal strength and vision. Under her rule, Egypt sent expeditions to distant lands, returning with unimaginable wealth and treasures. Her temples and monuments stood as proof that greatness required no crown of a specific gender. Generations later, a strange young pharaoh would challenge everything Egypt believed about its own gods. He abandoned centuries of tradition, declaring that only one single god deserved worship and devotion. He built an entirely new capital in the desert, devoted only to his radical new religion. But when he died, his revolution collapsed, and priests erased his name from history itself. A young boy king took the throne, restoring the old gods his father had abandoned. Though he ruled only briefly, his tomb would one day reveal Egypt's wealth to the world. Egypt's next great ruler would push the empire to the very height of its power. Ramesses the Great marched his armies against the mighty Hittite Empire in a legendary clash. At the Battle of Kadesh, two ancient superpowers collided in one of history's greatest wars. The war ended in stalemate, leading to the world's very first recorded peace treaty. Ramesses built monuments so massive they were designed to outlast time itself completely. Under his 66-year reign, Egypt reached a wealth and power never seen before. Foreign kings sent tribute and gifts, terrified of provoking the empire's overwhelming military might. Art, architecture, and culture flourished, defining what the world would remember as ancient Egypt. For a moment in history, Egypt stood as the single greatest power on earth. But even the greatest empires eventually face threats they cannot fully understand or control. Unknown invaders from the sea attacked, destroying kingdoms far greater than Egypt had ever faced. Egypt barely survived the onslaught, but the cost drained its treasury and its strength. Slowly, the empire's outer territories broke away, one by one, beyond its control. Internal power struggles returned, splitting the kingdom's authority between rival priests and generals. Foreign powers began to seize what was once untouchable, ruling the land of the pharaohs. The Assyrians invaded next, proving that Egypt's ancient glory could no longer protect it. Then came the Persians, conquering Egypt and folding it into an empire far larger. Yet even under foreign rule, Egyptian culture, religion, and identity refused to fully disappear. A young conqueror from Greece arrived next, welcomed as a liberator, not an enemy. Alexander the Great was crowned pharaoh, merging Greek power with Egypt's ancient royal traditions. He founded a new city that would become the greatest center of knowledge on earth. After Alexander's death, his generals seized Egypt, founding a new Greek-Egyptian ruling dynasty. Alexandria's great library became a beacon, drawing the greatest minds from across the known world. For nearly 3 centuries, this new dynasty ruled Egypt, blending two great civilizations together. Then came a queen whose intelligence and ambition would make her legendary throughout history. Cleopatra forged alliances with Rome's most powerful men, fighting desperately to protect her kingdom. But Rome's ambitions grew too large, and war between the two powers became inevitable. At the Battle of Actium, Cleopatra's forces were decisively crushed by the Roman navy. Facing capture and the total end of her kingdom, the last pharaoh chose her own fate. With her death, 3,000 years of pharaonic rule finally came to its end. Egypt became just another province, its once mighty throne erased by a foreign empire's rule. Yet even as rulers changed, Egypt's monuments stood silently, outlasting every empire that followed. For nearly 2,000 years, the secrets of the pharaohs remained buried and forgotten. Then explorers rediscovered the key to a language the world had completely forgotten. Tomb after tomb was uncovered, revealing treasures untouched for over 3,000 years. The world watched in astonishment as Egypt's golden secrets finally saw the light again. Today, millions travel from across the world just to stand before these ancient wonders. The pharaohs are gone, but their empire never truly disappeared from human memory. 3,000 years of gods, wars, and glory, this was the Egyptian empire,